This is the ideal career path in tech sales. It's the video I wish I saw prior to breaking into software sales to maximize my chance of success and my pay. Okay, so here's our table of contents, what we're gonna cover in today's video. We have 3 levels to complete, and throughout the video, you're gonna learn what I wish I knew, more importantly, every mistake I made, because my career path so far in tech has been far from ideal. All right, we're at level number 1. Level number 1 is all about avoiding disaster. Most people looking to break into tech sales, new to tech sales, or just learning about the industry, they think that tech sales is easy money. Within a year, a couple years, they're gonna be making several 6 figures on their way to making $1 million a year. So they could buy a humongous mansion to impress all their friends, and they could drive a Lambo, because every other person working in tech sales drives a Lamborghini. And I don't blame you if that's what you think, because all the content I see on LinkedIn, YouTube, especially TikTok, with these sales influencers make it seem like tech sales is this dreamland, and everybody working in tech sales is driving a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, on these ridiculous vacations and making $1 million a year. That is not the reality of tech sales. This is the reality of tech sales. The state of tech sales in 2024 is a dumpster fire. A dumpster fire. Quota attainment in the trash. Rep tenure in the trash. Back in 2020, the average tenure of a tech sales SDR or account executive at a company was 2.2 years. In 2024, rep tenure is just below 18 months. We're going in the wrong direction. Whenever I log on to LinkedIn or go on social media, I'm seeing another big tech company with layoffs, announcing big layoffs. I know Intel last Friday announced an 8% company-wide layoff. A lot of that 8% was sales folks. Layoffs are happening rampant in tech sales. And PIPs, I'm getting hit up just about every week of somebody else asking me, hey Matt, I was just put on a performance improvement plan. What do I do now? They're panicking. This is the state of tech sales. Now, this isn't meant to scare you guys. It's not meant to scare you. This is meant to make sure your expectations are based in reality. By the end of this video, I'm gonna make sure you're not in the dumpster, your hair is not on fire, where you do have the opportunity, if you want to buy a Lamborghini in 5 to 7 years if you follow this video to a T. Good versus bad. This is the foundation here. We need to get very good at recognizing what is a good opportunity, a good company to work for, versus what is a bad company to work for. And we gotta get this right. This is so important. 80% of our success as a tech salesperson comes down to our situation. And our situation is made up of several factors. Some of the key factors: the company you work for, the product you sell, your territory assignment, the timing within the accounts you sell to or prospect into, your direct manager, and the economy as a whole. Now, you do not have control over your territory assignment, the time within your accounts, your direct manager, or the economy. But you have complete control over your company and the product you sell. And those 2 factors right there make up 50% of the 80%. So we need to, this is so important, guys, we need to get this right. If I could go back in time, I'm fresh out of college, I'm looking to break into tech sales. I am trying to get into ServiceNow. I'm doing whatever I can to get into ServiceNow. Here's why. 78% of their SDRs are hitting quota. 78%. That is unheard of in tech sales. And as you go up the ranks as a salesperson at ServiceNow, their quota attainment is equally as high at that 78% number. Tremendous. It's big. I'm going to talk about in a minute here, guys, why I recommend working for big companies to start your tech sales career over startups. The industry. ServiceNow is a company that is based and focused on AI. Their product is AI based. Any company focusing on AI right now you want to get into, because I don't know if you've been sleeping under a rock, that's where things are going. There is a clear path to promotion. There are several enterprise account executives working at ServiceNow right now that started as SDRs. Path to promotion. Incredible G2 scores. Product market fit. Their product solves big problems for big companies. tremendous company to work for. That's what ideal looks like. Now, it's more important to understand what bad looks like. And if you've been following this channel for some time now, you guys know that I'm a nice guy. I had a couple companies picked out here, and I was gonna run down them one by one, why they're bad companies, and look into the factors at play. But I was like, you know what? I'm nice. I don't want to tear any businesses down. So this is what bad looks like at a whole. Less than 50% quota attainment, because that tells me one of two things. Either number one, there's an unrealistic quota. So someone in the finance department is putting quota together and it is unrealistic. We have no chance whatsoever to hit it, and they actually don't want us to hit it. Or number two, the product is not very good. It sucks. I don't care what it is. If less than 50% are hitting, it's not a company I want to work for. Path to promotion? No, I'm not working there. Like, if I know for a fact I don't see any of their account executives, they were never, or they didn't work previously as an SDR, and I'm getting the sense in my interview with a hiring manager or sales manager that there isn't a defined path to promotion, big red flag, I'm running away. I'm not wasting my time. Low base salary. One of the first sales jobs I had out of college, I had a ridiculously low base salary. I think it was $30,000. It might have been a little bit less. Low base salary, you want to run away, especially because we know what the median base salary is for the different roles in tech. And I'm going to cover that in a couple minutes here. Now, something to look out for. A huge delta between your base salary and your OTE. That is a red flag. They're trying to screw you. So for example, if they say, hey, Matt, your base salary is $80,000, but your OTE is $400,000, that's not a comp plan that makes any sense whatsoever. They're just trying to lure me in with that big fat OTE. That big delta there makes absolutely no sense. Run far away from it. Awful direct sales manager. If you get the sense in your interview that your sales manager is going to be awful and a micromanager, I don't care how much money they're going to pay you, run away. I've had so many bad sales managers. This is their face right here. Again, I'm a nice guy, but in my head, I was pummeling them because they made my life a living hell. Awful direct sales manager means an awful job for you, the salesperson. Lack of tools and resources. There are certain tools you need in order to be successful in sales. You need a ZoomInfo to pull direct dials, mobile numbers, and email addresses for your prospects. You need a CRM. There are certain tools and resources you need to be successful. If a company is not providing any of that, they're setting you up for failure. And they might even be saying, hey, Matt, we're not going to provide you that, but if you want to invest in that yourself, go for it. I've had that several times. You need tools to be successful. So if they are in play, run away. Now, if any of these factors are multiple factors we walk through here are in play, and it's a startup where you're an early sales hire, I want to caution you. I would never recommend somebody breaking into tech sales just out of college or changing industries to start at a startup as an early sales hire. I always recommend getting into a big company, because a big company is a big company for a reason. They've sold a lot of their product or service. They have product market fit. They have sales plays that worked. Hey, Matt, run these sales plays, run this sales process, and chances are high, if you work hard and you get your skills up, you'll be successful in due time, because hundreds, if not thousands of other salespeople have done just that. Now, it's not a red flag, guys, to work at a startup. It's just not ideal. If any of these factors are in play, we could be in tech sales hell. Your targets, your ICP, ideal company profile. When a company is recruiting for a salesperson, they put together the profile of what the ideal hire, sales hire, looks like. Past experience, past companies they worked at, skill set, talent, so on and so forth. You need to do the exact same thing when you're looking to break into a tech sales company. You need to come up with a finite list of 10, ideally 10. If you want to push it to 20 and be ambitious, go for it. A finite list of companies you want to work for. Because guys, this is a two-way street. Yes, they are interviewing you to see if you're the right fit, but you're interviewing them to see if they're the right fit to hire your services to crush it as a salesperson. Two-way street, never forget that. So you're gonna come up with a list, a finite list of target companies you would like to work for based on factors that are important to you. Here are some factors to consider. Company size, ideally big. Again, startups, there's a lot of risk there. And with startups, you're gonna be wearing lots of different hats. You're not just going to be selling. You're gonna be doing lots of other things, yet you're there to close deals. It's gonna take time away from doing what you're there to do, which could lead to a PIP and you're out of the company, fired, let go. Product market fit score. Are we selling a must-have product or a nice-to-have product? Too many tech salespeople out there are struggling because they're selling a boat and the wind is hitting them right in the face. And the reason is because they're selling nice-to-have products. When you're selling a must-have product, the wind is at your back and it's smooth sailing. As long as you get your skills up and your talent up, you're going to be successful. Must have, way better than nice to have. Quota attainment, ideally 50, 60+%. Are SDRs getting promoted to account executives? Are account executives moving up the ranks to become an enterprise, a strategic account executive? If that's in play there, that's a really good company. Compensation and benefits. What base salary do we need? What OTE do we need to be successful? What benefits do we need for that to be a good opportunity? Now, this is not an exhaustive list, right? You want to keep building this list out and factor them in order of importance. Looking at this list here, if you were to ask me, hey Matt, how would you rank these for you? Number one is product market fit score, because I know if I'm selling a must-have product, the wind is at my back, it's not working against me. With all the work I do to become a professional salesperson, in due time, I will be successful. That's number one. Number two is company size. I'm early in my sales career, guys. Really, really early in my sales career. I want to work for big companies where there's a defined process for success. If you follow these steps, you'll be successful in due time. That works for me. Number three is quota attainment. And then four in last place is compensation and benefits. And you might be asking, compensation in last place? I'm surprised that's not in first place. Well, the OTE, on target earnings, mean nothing if I'm selling a nice to have product that is hard to sell. But if I'm selling a must-have product, I could blow my number out of the water and blow my OTE out of the water. Come up with the factors that are important to you and list them in importance and use that to build out your list, your finite list of targets. Now, once you build out that finite list of targets, you're not going to be applying online. We all know that is a waste of time and a black hole. That's what weak salespeople do. You're going to be prospecting into these businesses to set up conversations with hiring managers to see if you might be the right fit. Now, we're not going to cover that in today's video, but I have several videos on the channel that I'm going to link in the description below that cover how to do just that. So after you watch today's video, if you're curious how to crush an interview, how to break into a tech sales company and get an interview set up, you can check out those videos in the description below. All right, we passed level number one. We avoided disaster. We're on to level number two, SDR land. Prospecting is the lifeline of sales. Without it, the salesperson is out of a job. This is a quote by the great Zig Ziglar. Prospecting is the core role of an SDR. As an SDR, you're going to be cold calling, cold emailing, social selling, you're building pipeline, you're setting qualified meetings for closers, account executives to hopefully lead those conversations to the finish line. But your entire goal and mission is to build pipeline, build awareness, and set meetings. And don't shortchange yourself. It is the hardest job in all of sales. The numbers. Median base salary for SDRs in tech is $55,000. That's really good. I know I mentioned this earlier in the video. One of the first base salaries I had in sales was $30,000. $25,000 more here, tremendous. Median OTE, $85,000. OTE, guys, it stands for on target earnings. So a quota for an SDR is based on meetings. So keeping the math simple, let's say your quota is 10 meetings for the year. If you hit 10 meetings for the year, you're hitting that OTE number of $85,000. Now, of course, if you go north of your quota, you're getting into accelerators. You're gonna make a lot more commission on top of that. And the top earning potential as an SDR is $130,000. Think about that, $130,000. There's not many careers out there where you can make $130,000, let alone early in your career. That's awesome. Quota attainment, 54%, which is pretty good. Now, quota attainment has increased 6% over the last 12 months. That's always good to see. This job is super difficult. It's not a fun job, guys. I don't want to glorify this job whatsoever. You want to promote as quickly as possible, and you will because you're subscribed and watching this YouTube channel. If you crush it, and you will, within 12 to 18 months, you'll get promoted. Now, if you're struggling to break into tech sales, this might help. The Mario here, stomping on the mushroom. The Mario is higher levels. You might have heard of them. The mushroom is Course Careers. And I know you've definitely heard of Course Careers because whenever I go onto YouTube, Instagram, social media, I'm getting spammed with a Course Careers ad. And let me tell you something, guys. Course Careers used to pay me to promote their product, their tech sales bootcamp. I no longer promote them. I promote Higher Levels, and Higher Levels pays me less money to promote them than Course Careers did. Higher Levels is tremendous. Chris and Eric, the two guys that run it, are enterprise account executives at two of the best tech companies in the industry. They're top performers, they're President's Club winners, and they're currently selling. The people working in Course Careers, they work in higher education. They've never sold anything whatsoever. Now, is a boot camp needed to be successful to break in? No, it is not needed at all. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because they're paying me, guys. It helps me if you purchase Higher Levels through my link in the description. It helps the channel. You don't need it, guys, but if you're struggling, they could certainly help. Also, we are moving on to level number 3, account executive land. Now, as the cool kids like to say, there's levels to this. So when you promote from an SDR to an account executive, you're gonna start as an SMB account executive. The next rung up on top of that is a mid-market account executive. That's where I'm at today. I've been there for the last couple years. After that, you're moving into the money level, the big money level, an enterprise account executive. Looking at the numbers, an SMB account executive, their average deal size that they're closing is $22,000 ACV. ACV, annual contract value. Median base salary, $70,000. That's awesome, 70,000 bucks a couple years out of college. Median OTE, $130,000. Top earners as SMB AEs, $267,174. That's incredible. Now quota attainment, 42.3%, and that's up 5% over the last 12 months. 42.3. That's not very good, especially given the deal size of $22,000. 42.3. That OTE, which I said previously in the video stood for on-target earnings, actually here stands for off-target earnings. Now, as you crush this role, and you will, this isn't a difficult role to crush. It's easier to crush this role than it is the SDR role. Much easier. You'll promote within 12 to 18 months to a mid-market account executive. Again, this is where I'm at today. Average deal size, $51,000. Median base salary, $85,000. OTE, $165,000. Top earning potential, $382,639. That looks like the number that a doctor or lawyer would make. That is tremendous. Quota attainment, 40.3%. And that's up 5% across the last 12 months. So as you can see here, guys, as we go up the ranks in tech sales, SDR, SMB, mid-market, our quota attainment number is decreasing. Not good. Telltale sign of where the tech sales industry is today. Again, off-target earnings. Now, it's important to note, guys, how tech sales comp works. As your base salary increases, so my base salary when I started, let's say it was $85,000, I'm now north of 6 figures where I'm at today. As your base salary increases, as an account executive, your OTE also increases. Your base salary is typically 55% of your total pay. The remaining 45-50% is your commission building up to your OTE. Now, this role takes longer to promote than the other roles. It takes between 2 years and 3 years of crushing it consistently to move up to an enterprise account executive. Average deal size, they're closing big deals. $162,000 ACV. Median base salary, $130,000. $130,000, tremendous. Median OTE, $255, over $250,000. Top earning potential, $609,014. I know a couple account executives, don't know in person, but who have made north of $1 million in tech sales. Now, is that rare? Yes, it's rare. I know LinkedIn makes it seem like it's possible. It's super rare. In most cases, it's not possible. 1 out of every 2,500 tech sales reps will make $1 million in their career. It's rare. Quota attainment, enterprise account executives, 36.4%. Again, on-target earnings more like off-target earnings. When you're an enterprise account executive, it's feast or famine. Some years are great, you're pulling in north of 400K. Other years, you're just making your base salary. Some of the core mistakes I made in my career, because my career got off to a shaky start, and it's mistakes that could have been avoided, and I want to make sure you're avoiding these mistakes. Number 1, I put zero thought into my career. I was just like, you know what, I'll go from this sales job to this sales job to this sales job without any thought. How does this next role impact where I want to be 5, 7, 15 years from now? I had no big picture of what I wanted my sales career to look like. So if you don't have one today, that's okay. Sit down and what do you want it to look like 5, 7, 15 years from now? Make sure you know what that is, and the decisions you make are dictated based on your goals. I was working at small companies. I was working at companies where I had no chance to get promoted. I was always going to be an SDR. There was no path to promotion to become an account executive. Big companies for the win. Awful sales managers. Guys, I've only had one good sales manager in my entire life. And the guy I'm working with now is also very good. They demoralized me. They broke my soul, not to be dramatic, but I ended up in therapy because I worked too long for bad sales managers that greatly impacted my mental health. Don't ever do that. And poor pay. Like I said, I worked a sales job, guys, where I was making $30,000. And I wasn't very successful in the role. I was actually the worst salesperson on the team. I was 60. I probably made like $35,000 that year. Don't work for a company where the base salary is super, super, super low. So those are some of the core mistakes I made. There you have it, guys. That is the ideal career path in tech sales. Hopefully, this helps you out and clears things up. You can drive a Lamborghini. You can get a mansion. You can make several six figures. But it's not easy. And most people, 90% of people, don't have the ability to do that. So I want to make sure your expectations are based in reality. Avoid disaster. Get into a great organization where you actually have the chance of being successful. And if you are trying to break into tech sales, check out this video right here. It's a complete guide, step-by-step, to break into tech sales, and the video below it is a complete guide once you get an interview set up to crush that interview to get an offer you deserve. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you.